What is going on, everyone? Brad here from Preeminent Practice. And today I'm going to be talking a little bit more about how to increase patient retention. So, if you are struggling with patient retention and getting people into plans of care, this is going to be extremely helpful. Now, one of the most important parts of a successful practice is understanding and building your patient success journey. You hear me talk about this all the time. If you watch my stuff, is patient success journey is why your business exists in the first place. This journey is what takes people from inquiring about your service the moment they first hear about you to the moment they are discharged, as well as all the stages in between, including getting referrals. Having a well-defined, mapped out, and tracked patient journey is a key fundamental to why practice is in business in the first place, and having a deep understanding of each one of the stages is a key to having a successful practice filled with patients you love treating and will stay pay and refer. So today I'm going to be talking a little bit more about the specific key steps and stages that this patient success journey consists of, and how you can best optimize them to make sure patients are getting result and you have sustainable, profitable practice. Now, if you've never mapped out your patient journey before, this is going to be a foundational component to transforming your practice. And if you have done it before, this is a great opportunity to refine and optimize to make sure that your business is following what you had originally planned out. Now, I always suggest and use software to help me build this out, as what we call customer relationship management, or CRM. You'll hear things like ActiveCampaign, Go High Level, Infusionsoft, and whatnot. I use ActiveCampaign. I find that it is the most simple, easiest thing to use. And if it's simple, people will use them and they'll execute. A lot of people use like Go High Level. It's too technical for them. They don't use it, they don't implement, and as a result, they'll have a failure of a system. A lot of people also say, hey, well, I have scheduling software and it does some of these things. The reality is that I've yet to find a software that is not custom built, that has been able to manage the capabilities and facilitate what a CRM can be able to do in terms of your patient success journey. CRM is basically like an employee that works 24/7, never gets sick, and doesn't complain. And usually they're less than $100 a month. Now, before we get started, it is important to note that the patient journey starts way before the patient actually schedules the first appointment. The process actually starts when they first hear about your business or services, which is why I always talk about having the right messaging, positioning, psychological triggers, and how you're actually representing your offers within the community. Because if you don't have those things in place, your overall practice is always going to struggle a little bit, because people are not going to be as attracted to the business. Now, how a prospective patient views your services and business can be a critical factor in their decision-making process of choosing your business over potential competitor service, such as another practitioner or type of practitioner, and even products such as painkillers, foam rollers, personal trainers, that kind of thing, or simply doing nothing at all. At this stage, refining your marketing message and community positioning along with your offers is a critical first step, because the patient needs to understand that your solutions and services that you provide are able to get them to the outcomes they're looking for. For example, if your website is not clear about the solutions and outcomes that you help people solve, this can confuse and push prospective patients to other options. Having a clear marketing message about your service and making sure the message is congruent across all of your branding, such as website, social media, print materials, anything you have, is really a critical first step. If your website is convoluted and says, hey, we offer all these massage services and chiropractic and physiotherapy and so on, so does everyone else says that. So you need to make sure that you have clear messaging on there. The next step is you need to ensure that you have different types of offers based on where the prospective patient is in your sales cycle. And this will ensure that you can start the relationship at where they're at. We know that about 15% of people are ready to take action now, meaning they'll book an appointment, pay, whatever that may be. They've already made their mind up. They're ready to take action. Well, there's 85% of other people who are not quite ready yet, and they may need to learn more about your services or how you can specifically help them. Types of offers like this, I like to offer discovery visits or phone calls, strategy calls, something along those lines where they can communicate with someone first. I call these warm prospects. And the reality is why we create those types of offers is because a lot of the time people like to think that their condition or issue that they're going through is unique to them, even though we know that in many scenarios, shoulder pain, there's a couple of reasons why, and it's probably because of these 3 4 things. But people like to have a more concierge or specifics process. A lot of clients I work with improve their conversions dramatically and generate, just from website alone, between 15 20 extra inquiries per month, just by having a option for someone to schedule a call or to call the business because they got a specific question about them. Lastly, the largest segment of prospective patients is what we call cold. These are people who may have some sort of problem. Maybe they got some new back pain, or they're not aware of therapy services as much, and they're not quite sure that you even exist, or like if they may have seen an ad or something or heard about you or seen you in the area, they might not understand how your service can best help them. So we like to offer these types of prospects. I've a variety of different things. I've done video sales letters or micro webinars on specific topics like why you have back pain and what to do about it. Offering reports like 5 ways to overcome back pain naturally without painkillers, things like that. So someone can, if they're going to your website or landing page or they hear about you, they can gather some information that explains the process of how you actually work. And more importantly, why you're different than other options that they potentially have out there to go from. All of these segments are what we call the lead stage in your patient success journey. And it's important to note that at this stage, really what you're doing is capturing the contact information of prospects, segmenting them to the hot, warm, cold, wherever they came in from, and making sure that you're starting that relationship. Now, when you have communications going out, if someone's cold, you're going to want to make sure that that communication is going to be related to that person being a cold person, knowing that they need to have more education than the hot person. They just need to know, like, where's the location, what's the paperwork, what's the next step, and that kind of thing. So that is really a critical component in your lead stage. Now, the next stage that we have is what I call the conversion stage. And there's 3 parts to it. The first is our triage. I always say triage is one of the most important parts of your conversion phase because it sets the tone for what is going to come in your initial evaluation, as well as maintenance plans of care. So your triage call is really where you're creating a world-class meet and greet and getting to the cause of like why you're having these issues. I have called thousands of clinics across Canada, US, and even into Australia and UK. Usually they pick up on my accent, that I'm not from those areas. So a little bit harder to, a little more skeptical in some regards. But when I'm calling like Canada and US, a lot of the time, people don't ask me any questions. Their whole goal is maybe they're busy or whatever it may be. They're just pushing to get me to come in. So what we want to do is follow my triage process. Now I have triage. You can download the triage script. It's either on my website. You can type it into the search, or if you're on social media, you can just type in triage script below and we'll send it over to you. And the triage script is really designed to prepare the person for when they're coming in and as well as qualify them. Because there's some people that you either can't help or you wouldn't want to help because they're very aggressive, or, they calling to get their grass cut or order some ice cream or whatever it may be. And obviously you can't help them with those services. And then if they are a good fit, you're trying to pre-frame them to say, listen, well, this is what's going to happen. You're going to come in for initial eval. We're going to get the root cause and do some treatment and put together a plan of care. So that way they're preemptively future paced to like what the next steps are. And as a critical step to this triage is that you are getting the person to ultimately, you're really getting them to understand that like you guys are doing something different. because all of these other places are just trying to get their insurance booked in on the schedule, whatever. And you're really taking the time to ask some questions about like, why are they in this situation to begin with? Now, I generally like to do this ahead of time because it saves time in the initial eval of having to go through that. And I know there's a lot of practitioners that feel rushed because they're feeling like they're on the clock. Oh, I've got 60 minutes to either treat this person and I got to ask them these questions. Well, I do a lot of it ahead of time. So that way, when someone comes in, I can spend more time giving them better service. So it's actually has to do with getting better service. Now, the next stage is your initial evaluation. So the initial evaluation is obviously doing the initial visit. During this, I'm not going to get into all the details. There's lots of other content on how to do initial evals to sell plans of care, but really we need to do our discovery, which is why they're having issues in the first place. We need to do the assessment and tailored treatment, and then we need to give the report of findings where we're briefing how to sell the plan of care. Biggest problem that I see is most people do not sell a plan of care. They don't even tell people what the next steps are. So it's very critical that you at least tell people what the next steps are. I used to draw it out and have a computer or software that used to print them out, this plan of care and stuff. I found it was just too confusing for people. So I went back to just telling people what they need. You know, hey, I need to see you once a week for the next 6 weeks. Let's schedule it out. So whatever works kind of for you, different people will have different ways of being able to explain it, but it's critical that you do the initial eval. And remember, the triage call sells the initial eval. The initial eval sells the plan of care. So the next stage we have is plan of care and maintenance plan of care. Maintenance plan of care is their initial issue. They come in for shoulder pain and they can't bench press. That is the initial issue we're trying to solve. Maintenance plan of care is all about improving performance, preventing issues into the future. Maintenance plan of care is such a critical stage of your patient success journey because most people are going to have other issues that come up in life, or at very least want to maintain where they are and not have to worry about getting potentially any worse or other issues coming up. Maintenance plan of care is very important in getting a patient better, I would say better and more successful treatment long term. And a lot of the time people don't realize, but they'll come in and someone will come in and see you for back pain and they don't realize that you help them with their ankles or whatever it may be. That's one huge thing that I find to be critically important, is making sure that you're telling people that, hey, yeah, we can help you with these other things as well, because a lot of the time people have no idea that you can actually do that with them as well. When you get into the maintenance plan of care, the last stage really of your patient success journey is referrals. Referrals generally equate to, I look for healthy of generally at least around 20% referrals in a business. If you're not getting 20% referrals from your total revenue, there's something breaking down in your process of the patient success journey. Why referrals are so important is because referrals tell you, one, people are getting good results, and obviously they are going to refer like-minded people. And number two, it decreases your acquisition costs for patients. If I spend $100 on ads and you spend $100 on ads and we both got 10 leads for $10, we're equal. But if you get 25% people referring you or 50% referring you, you now all of a sudden got 15 people for $100, which means that your actual value for patient is higher. You can spend more money on marketing, and ultimately whoever can spend the most money to acquire a customer or patient is going to be the most successful in your business. So these stages are critically important. Now, I didn't go through every single nuance with it. If you want to learn more about the patient success journey, you can search for that video. Just type in patient success journey or comment patient success journey below on this video, and we'll send you over the video and the worksheet. There's a little worksheet to go along with it so you can fill it out. I'm kind of just giving you the overview of it today for some reminders here, but it's very important to go through that process. Now, if you're struggling with kind of trying to put all these things together, or maybe you've went through that already and you're not quite sure on how to implement it or how to implement these CRMs, then make sure that somewhere around here, there'll be a spot to schedule a 10-minute practice audit. During that call, what we'll do is we'll get on with you and we'll take a look at three things. What's working in the business that don't really need to focus on other than track? what is kind of working but needs to be optimized, and what is the lowest hanging fruit in order for you to take action on right away. So I hope this helps give you guys a little bit more clarity in terms of the patient success journey and really how to start building it out and some of the key components there. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out as always. And I look forward to seeing you on the next time. Bye.